Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalati wassalam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tasliman kathiran ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I would like to begin with a question. A question for all of us to ask ourselves sincerely. Have I been truthful in my life? Have I been truthful in my relationships with my family and my friends? Have I been truthful in my speech? Have I been truthful in my everyday dealings, in my work, or in my study, or in my play? This is the question. Telling the truth is a basic, simple task that most of us are taught from a very young age. We are told not to tell lies, to always speak the truth, and yet for some of us, we fail to achieve this task in our life. We can see the example of a truthful person in the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even before attaining prophethood, he was known to his people as as-sadiq al-amin, the truthful and the trustworthy. However, after receiving the message of Islam and the initial propagation began, enemies began to emerge, and there were none stronger in enemies to Islam than some of the direct relatives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These people, who were not only the relatives of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were also the leaders of Mecca, the leaders of the city. And they tried every measure to stop the message of Islam from spreading. They tortured the believers. They beat them. They placed them in prison. They even placed a boycott on them so that they were not allowed to trade with any of the people inside Mecca. However, despite this hatred that they had in their hearts towards Islam, they never doubted the trustworthiness of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this can be seen in the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the migration from Mecca to Medina. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated, he left Ali, his cousin, radiyallahu anhu, in the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to sleep on his bed. And he did this for two reasons. The first was, of course, to trick the disbelievers who were coming to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to make so that they would not follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on his hijrah. But the second reason was so that Ali radiallahu anhu could return their property to them, that they had left to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a trust or an amana. So even though these people were the enemies of Islam, and they had been trying now for 13 years to destroy Islam and killing Muslims, the Prophet ﷺ remained honest and had all of their belongings returned to their rightful owners. Islam, my brothers and sisters, is often referred to as a way of life rather than a religion. And it teaches us certain aspects of life that improves the manners and the etiquette of the human being. And truth is one of these manners and etiquettes that everybody loves to hear and everybody loves to see. In a narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the English language, "Verily truth leads to goodness, and verily goodness leads to paradise. And a man does not continue speaking the truth except that he becomes truthful. And verily a lie leads to evilness, and verily evilness leads to hellfire. And a man does not continue lying except that Allah writes for him that he is a liar. In the first part of this hadith, my brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ is saying that truth leads to goodness. So the one who has a habit of speaking the truth, he's always telling the truth, this encourages him to do other good deeds. In his work, in his worship, in his dealings with his family, he becomes truthful. And this leads him closer and closer to the paradise. However, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something about the paradise. What do we know about the paradise? We know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us about the paradise. لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا. There will be no dirty or false or evil talk, and there will be no lying. No lying. So if there was a Muslim who was a liar in this world, and we know from our Aqidah that the one who believes in La ilaha illallah sincerely, he will go to paradise, even if he was a sinner. This Muslim who was a liar, yet he believed in La ilaha illallah, he will have to spend some time in the fire, in what we would say a cleansing period. He would receive the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would be punished for his lies. And when Allah wills that he is to be taken out of the fire, when his punishment is enough, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him paradise. And he will never, ever, ever, ever tell a lie again in paradise. Brothers and sisters, in the second part of this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that a lie leads to evilness, and evilness leads to the fire. And this is because, brothers and sisters, when you tell a lie, you're opening the gates to shaitan to come and take hold of your life. And you're pushing yourself further and further away from Allah's happiness. Allah does not like lies. Brothers and sisters, Allah makes the situation for this person, as He says in the last part of the hadith, and a man does not continue telling lies except that it is written that he is a liar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the situation for the one who tells these lies, He makes it so bad that the whole world, the whole of the creation, recognizes this person as a liar. He is a liar. And you've probably seen it. I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it. Everybody knows somebody who everybody recognizes him as a liar. If you ask them, what about this guy, Fulan? They will say he's a liar. And being a liar is one of the most degrading things that you can ever be called. Even if you ask a liar, if you come across a liar and you say to him, you're lying, I know you're lying, what does he do? His face turns red and smoke comes out his ears. And he says, you calling me a liar? And sometimes it even ends up in a punch-up, in a fight, because he hates to be called a liar. So brothers and sisters, we can see in this hadith that someone who tells lies, Allah will make it written upon him that everyone will see him as a liar. And in some cultures, especially mine, we have this new invention called the little white lie. Not the big black lie, the little white lie. Have you heard of this? The little white lie. And they say it's okay to say the little white lie. The big black lie, you're not allowed to say. But the little white lie, it's okay. But in Islam, brothers and sisters, we don't have any little white lie or yellow lie or any color of lies. Lies are all the same. If you lie, you will be punished for your lie, and it will be written in your books. And you will face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So brothers and sisters, I advise myself and then you to be extra cautious of this, extra cautious of these things. Next time the shaitan is calling you or inviting you to tell a lie, remember that it can lead you to the hellfire. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are in the paradise, in the Firdaus al-A'la. Subhanaka wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.